Fine dining or formal dining is not really exclusive. The principles that are involved in it is that the food is supposed to be great, the service is supposed to be seamless but not be intrusive, and it's really the experience. You come into a place like this and it's opulent and decadent and beautiful. It's got a look to it that kind of echoes of America.
2 chicken, 1 no sauce, prime rib.
I've known Eddie a long time, over 10 years. He's the kind of the classic American chef. Pulled himself up from his bootstraps, very hard-working guy. His father kind of is a self-made guy. You can learn a lot from people like that if you pay attention. And Eddie has done a lot of that. America is a melting pot, so our cuisine is a melting pot. You need to know how to cook everything from German food to Indian food to Thai food to pupusas. And so really the concept we wanted to put in here had to reflect all of those things. And he knows all that, and he brings it here every day.
Don't stop your sighing.
Traveling down Main Street in Islip, you come across a prominent bank building overlooking the mom and pop stores that surround it. Walk inside and you'll experience one of Long Island's best steakhouses. Teller's Chop House is known for its elegance and high-end cuisine. But head into the kitchen and you'll find a story that began more than 30 years ago in the basement of a pupusa shop in Glen Cove.
Train wreck potato, 2 bacon app working.
With no formal training, Eddie Villatoro has risen to become one of Long Island's most confident, no-nonsense chefs. Following in his immigrant father's footsteps, his voyage to Teller's Kitchen is the next chapter in the book that tells the story of Long Island's newest chefs, transforming the food they grew up eating into a modern cuisine that is uniquely American.
So El Tazuma, my parents' restaurant's been around for 31 years, opened in 1986. It was a hit. People wanted that. They needed the food. They needed a place to hang out. Family owned, family structured. And I just grew up in there and just working side by side with parents and brother.
I don't know where he's at right now, but if you need anything, just let me know. I got a wonton working.
Average week for me, 5-day work week, 12 to 12. The menu's the menu. Steaks, potatoes, vegetables. I have a good amount of fish because I love seafood. But aside from that, where I try to show my other skills are through the specials. Do I want to see colors? Is it aromatics? Is it flavor? I don't have any problem with that branching out anyway. I can get any steak and compose it and give it its value and sell it.
So talk to me about, you've seen Eddie over the years when he first came on board with the group. At what point do you decide he's risen to a level where you want to promote him to executive chef?
I'm from German heritage. My grandparents owned German restaurants, and I remember, I don't know, maybe his first or second year here, he did a German wine dinner, and he did a schnitzel. That was probably the best one I ever had. And I said, I cannot believe that this guy, out of nowhere, pulls out the best schnitzel I ever ate.
Wow. What's your grandmother thinking that?
I'm sure she'd be very proud. What Eddie has been able to bring to the table, and the reason why he's given this opportunity is because of his dedication to the job in front of him at all times. He does a great job day in and day out, and that consistency and that quality is really what shines through.
All right, guys, so tonight we got about 100 covers, restaurant week. We're good on Caesar salad. Okay. White salad, good, right? You ready to go? Yeah, good. Arugula.
What do you attribute to the success that you've had 5 years here in this kitchen?
In this kitchen, in the industry, definitely being bilingual, working with so many Latinos and different backgrounds. Confidence in decision making, it's very important.
You definitely don't lack confidence.
And you can't fake the funk like we say with anybody. They know I'm real, they know we're real. I don't keep anybody that's not real in my kitchen or my circle. And always looking out for yourself, and I don't got friends, everybody knows this. We're here, we're just working together.
Do your parents ever visited here?
I brought them a couple of times, yeah. They're busy just as me. We don't really get time to go, wine and dine. We're not regulars, Right. You're stuck in this industry, you're a slave to the trade, so. Just wrap the bones up. We'll have them ready for tonight. So we're always looking for beautiful center cuts. We'll break it down for lunch and we'll be ready for dinner. So these are New York strips, 16-ounce, dry aged.
Okay.
As soon as we open it up, you see this cherry red color. So, basically we line them up. Sometimes I don't like these narrow steaks, I'll put it to the side, and then
Decide
I'll
later.
take a look at it again. Yeah, sometimes, depending on what I have.
This strikes me
You
as
know?
pretty rare. I don't think there are most chefs, especially executive chefs, who will sit and do what you're doing.
Oh yeah. So
And
I know I'm paying a good price, so that's why I also get very picky, and I try to teach these guys. You know, this is a business. We gotta control quality. We gotta control all of that. It's a steakhouse. This is what they're coming for. You want to keep it consistent.
Talk to me about the dollars and cents of all this.
Definitely numbers. You know, I'm to control labor. I love to control food costs.
And that allows you to do what you want to do.
It reflects. Yeah, exactly.
That hustle also comes from your father. I mean, you were
Oh, yeah.
telling me about how your father would be able to hustle at the fish market and hustle at the chicken store.
Yeah.
And
For example, if he didn't like this one, then he'd say, okay, you know, I'll take this one, but you're not going to charge me that price. Same here. You know, you just gotta bring the best to the table. He didn't want to give his customers any garbage, and neither do I. You know.
Pot was empty, the cupboard was bare. I said, Papa, what's the matter here? I'm waiting, son, waiting on Roosevelt.
The eye for detail comes from trips to Flushing with his father, where Eddie learned not only about exotic ingredients and how to select them, but also the bare-knuckle tactics needed to negotiate a good price.
yellow dragon
This
fruit.
is the best fruit that they say, you know.
Oh, dragon fruit, yeah.
Dragon, right? You like it?
Oh, so good. As Eddie's learning, there's not much I don't like. All right, so what are we here to get?
We're here to get. He's gonna pick them out right now. Some porgies or crabs also.
Yeah, the life is when they got it like this. You see this?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Everything's
Moving
gotta
along.
be
They're
alive.
They're alive. So, I mean, look, I watch your dad, live fish, live crab, you know, it's like, this is you. This is exactly, you know, what you do at Tellers.
Exactly. Watching the prices, watching the ingredient. When my lobsters come in, you know, same thing. Move them around. Are they alive? Are they dead? You know.
Or how alive are they?
Or how alive? You know, what's the shelf life going to be? This is definitely what molded me in learning ingredients. Maybe I'm composing the dish, but I'll get flashbacks of certain fish or ingredients. So I bring this together at Tellers, and you know, make some money.
Most people who go to the supermarket don't see things like frogs and tripe. I mean, that's an education that, like, you know, you're never going to get in
You'll never
culinary.
see it at culinary
Not like
school.
that. Not unless you're willing to put the time into it.
Yeah.
You got to put the time into it at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and that's invaluable. You know, you're like 10 years, light years even ahead of
And then
of
all the
most chefs.
places around here that are cooking it and preparing it in ways that you couldn't imagine. We've got to taste them, you know.
This is everything. This is you. This is you. This is how it all comes together.
Each time Eddie's dad applied his instincts to the streets of Flushing, he was unknowingly educating his son, preparing him for his destiny. We head back to the kitchen in Islip, where Eddie applies his father's and now his own history to Teller's signature tomahawk steak.
Party going up.
What's the key to cooking one of these?
Heavy on the salt and pepper. It's already perfect, you know. We just gotta season it and cook it the right way. And I got the broiler cranked up, as usual. I just make sure I get that fat cap also. So now we got a little bit more color. It's looking better. Ready to flip it.
I love the way that, you know, the broiler adds that char to it.
Exactly. You see the discoloration from the char. And you just got a nice warm pink center.
The way, I mean, the fat on here is literally like butter.
Yeah.
Ah, you're building a lobster thermidor, one of my favorites.
No, I gotta warn you. It's gonna splatter, but just
Oh,
in case.
I'm gonna stand over here then for splatter purposes. Ooh,
This is a new addition to the menu. I like sticking to the classics.
this is as classic as it gets.
You need that at a steakhouse, you know? That's what they're coming for. They want the...
Oh my God, that smells so good.
So like I said, this is a little shallot, mushroom, deglazed with brandy, lobster
Yeah,
on
you can
glaze.
smell that brandy, you can smell that cream. It's taking a lot of urge not to eat that right now until it's completely done.
My father's selective being in products definitely influences as a chef. It makes you pick the best of the best because you know you're paying for it, you know, so you don't want to lose any money. And we can be talking about, you know, $20,000 in one meat delivery. So if I have to send back 30 ribeyes, then we'll send 30 back and get them back later.
So here we are. This is where, you know, it all began.
Pretty much, this is where my heart and soul is, passion for this industry. Definitely did begin here. Here we go with one of my favorites.
Is that tripe?
Yes, tripe and cow's hooves in there. Some fresh vegetables, achote, spices, and the grape broth.
This is amazing. I mean, it doesn't taste like tripe at all.
No.
And then the flavors, I mean, it's not spicy, but it's not at the same time bland and like.
No, Central American food is a little more simple, barely no spice. You know, it's coming from the countryside.
So how does the food shape you as a chef? The stuff you grew up cooking, grew up eating. I mean, this seems to sort of typify everything that you've learned and sort of carried on with you throughout the years.
Like I said, you know, the spices, the aromas, the flavor profile, and the no fear of food. So it's a common thing with food. I see some people said, oh, I've had it before and I'm never going to try it again. It's like, well, let me introduce you to it maybe one more time.
The proper way.
And then I can blow their mind, and that's what I love to do as a chef, is give it to you another way.
It was here in the basement of his parents' restaurant where Eddie first began preparing food as a child.
What do you know? How old are you? When you're starting out over here?
Yeah, 8 years old.
And at 8, what's your mom entrusting you to do?
We're debating shrimp. Like I said, we're making the mixes for the pupusas, the curtida, which is that pickled cabbage. After school to close, pretty much. Not too busy lunch today, but later on probably gets busy. Sorry. That's why I can't work here. It's too tight.
So at what point do your parents realize you want to be a cook, or at what point do you tell them you want to be a cook?
19 years old, told me, I wanted to be a cook. They're nodding their head, what's wrong with you? Don't you see what these people go through? I see what they go through, but I see also their passion, the love, and really enjoying this 100%, day to day. My father pushed me kind of to get out of his business, even though he wanted me to work with him, but he's like, you got to make your own money and all of that. So that's what took me around the circuit. Most important thing my father told me, definitely, I think, hard work and dedication. It is only my mother, my brother, and my father, us four working hard for plenty of years, and I branch out, but I take a lot of that with me, anywhere I go.
Oh, when you smiling, the whole world smiles with you, baby. Oh, when you laughing.
Met my wife in high school. 19 when we had the first set of twins, and then 4 years later to have the two beautiful girls, and then 4 years after that, I had a little girl, Gianna. So, through the whole time, just doing 2 jobs or full-time with a lot of overtime to make it happen.
Eddie grew up watching his father's immigrant dreams come true inside their family's Pupusa shop in Glen Cove. Using that childhood inspiration, this chef has achieved his own dreams inside the kitchen at one of Long Island's finest steakhouses. However, this story doesn't end at Teller's. While fulfilling his own ambition, Eddie has inadvertently passed down the same yearning of a bright culinary career to the next generation of the Villatoro family. His oldest son recently began working in his grandparents' shop and now has the chance to write the next chapter of the family legacy.
1, 2, 3. Go. Happy birthday to you. Come on, Gianna. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Well, it's a blessing. That's the only way I look at it. Even though when it's rough or whatever, I never look at it as in a bad way or depressed. I'm blessed to have the 5 kids. They're healthy. They're beautiful. You just gotta make things happen. That's what I do in the kitchen. That's what I have to do in my life. I don't know any other way.
Guests arrive at Teller's searching for a fine dining experience like none other. What they get is the opulence of 30-foot ceilings surrounding them while dining inside a 100-year-old bank building. But along with that, they encounter a taste of Eddie's Salvadoran heritage and the influence of his unconventional education, applied to each dish served at Long Island's most uniquely American restaurant.